Hello everyone, welcome. Rabbi Abe here. Okay, today in this video I'm going to go into deeper detail of the angel of sustenance, the angel of money, if you will, sustenance. Okay, because sustenance is not only physical, obviously. Everything in the physical world has a spiritual, energetic origin. So if we are to understand how this angel works, and many people don't understand the concept of angel. Let me try to, explain that. The more we know, the more consciousness we have, the more success we can get through whatever tools that we use. So, of course, as always, I will include the link in the comments section as well as a QR code for the tools that I'm going to speak about here, including the name of the angel of sustenance that governs that energy in our life. All sustenance flows through this angel. Okay, let me explain what it is, what that means, and how to empower that. Okay, because many people ask me, I've done it, some videos on this before, but how does it work? It's not working. Is it real? Why do I need an angel? Can I go through God directly? And okay, so first off, there's a reason why there's something called an angel, and an angel is not separate from the Creator. Let's start that way, okay? But the angel, as we know, I'll give you right away, we don't say the name. It's preferable not to. I know, again, lots of questions about this always. Why can't I say the name? Well, I mean, if you really want to, go for it. Hey, listen, the way I liken it is, electricity is a great thing if you know how to use it, but putting your finger in the socket really isn't productive. So, very often direct connections with spiritual forces are not necessarily better, okay? And that's why we don't say the name itself. We use some what we call resistance, like in electricity is a filament, and that helps manifest it in a better way. So again, saying it doesn't mean it's going to be more effective. All right, let's leave it at that. When we talk about scanning, you can say it within, say it to yourself in your heart. That's one way. Or you can just look at the name. That's another way. And that you can do with the download, because the download has some other tools, some additional, names, secret names that you can also use. And again, this is all about the energy of sustenance. There's a mind frame also that you need to be in to get your portion of sustenance as well. I'll go into that as well. Just to start off, again, I will refer to this angel as Deekar, okay? Deekar. But that's not the name. It's two syllables, Deekar, and then the second half of the name is Nosa, okay? So if you put those two things together, you have the name. Now, a lot of people say, well, wait a minute, this isn't Hebrew. Where does this come from? Is it Greek? Is it this? Is it that? Well, this is actually an ancient secret that was revealed about 2,000 years ago in the Talmud. Now, the Talmud, and I'll read you the source actually for those of you who maybe you might be Jewish or a religious person, and you understand maybe more about these sources. But I'm reading from Malachei Elyon, the Upper Angels. It's a book that was written by a great rabbi, Rabbi Reuven Margaliot. Some people call him Margolis, okay? But in Hebrew, it's Margaliot. And he wrote a book that outlines all the angels, and that's this book right here. I don't know if you can see it, how well you can see it, but there it is. And it's in Hebrew, of course. And it goes into all the angels, not only positive angels, but angels that he says come from the left, and they are the negative angels and negative forces, which we're not going into there right now. And he says simply, he quotes the Gemara or the Talmud. He says, Isra de mezone nakid shemei. The angel of sustenance, he says his name is Nakid. Nakid. Now, there's no place where you ever hear of an angel named Nakid. And that's not the name that ultimately comes out. But he says that it's almost as though the sages 2,000 years ago wanted to say something in the form of a hint that they did not want to say directly. They wanted to keep it concealed and covered. Of course, we learn out from, the Kabbalists who were closer to our generation, specifically Rabbi Isaac Luria, who he quotes, the Ari, who lived in the 15th century, who explains that what the actual name, because there's different references from Rashi, from different commentators, Nakid. So he says, he goes into it. He says, in the section of the Gemara, and I'm giving you the reference if you're interested in that, in Pesachim, Kuf Yud Aleph, Samach, section Samach Ayin Bet. He says the Rashi over there and the Rashbam also says it's known that this is a name of sustenance. This is a name of wealth and sustenance. But the actual name is what I just told you before, Dikar and Nosa. Dikar. Well, we're abbreviating it, okay, for short. So when I say Dikar, I mean the whole name. And that's the name. And if you want the other reference, it's the Pri Eitz Chaim from the Ari, the writings of the Ari, and he points out where it's referenced in the Amidah. Anyway, I won't go into it because maybe, it doesn't apply to everybody if you, don't know those references. The point is that this is a real thing, okay? And it was covered up or concealed by the sages for the reason, and there were reasons why certain things were concealed, okay? Because, Kabbalistically, the ancient sages could do many, many things, okay? I mean, according to what the books say, they had the capability to resurrect the dead. They could do alchemy. They could make rainfall. They could change the course of the river. They could do many things. They were not permitted to do these things in public, certainly, and they didn't need to do them privately. Because it just kind of wasn't the point. The reason why there was a prohibition against using these, let's call them tools, was because the whole idea of the creation is that people should come to an understanding of the spiritual work in life. And spiritual work doesn't mean doing magic. It's not about that. That's not why we're here. And so the attraction to do supernatural things would be too great because the spiritual level of people was actually much higher than it is today. We're kind of, in a way down in the dumps spiritually, but we're working. We are definitely on the other side of the curve, and there's certainly much more spiritual awareness, and therefore also Kabbalah has also been revealed in a big, big way in the past 50 years, as are many spiritual teachings. So there's also a reason for that. Okay, before I don't want to digress, but I just want us to understand the reason why many things are being revealed or have been revealed in the recent generation, because now we need those things. We need the tools to help us get back to the spiritual path, but not to take a shortcut. So 2,000 years ago, they were in a higher spiritual level, and having access to very strong spiritual tools would give instant results, okay? And instant results don't happen today from anything, and anything that gives instant results is not necessarily considered a positive thing, spiritually. Now, to understand that, you would need to learn more Kabbalah, but the point is that, so the goal was not to reveal everything in those days because people would be just interested in taking shortcuts, doing magic and doing what the sages could do, but not for the love of the Creator or doing the spiritual work or changing or whatever we actually came here to do. Just do magic, okay? So many things were concealed. Today, that is not a fear any longer because for the most part, the critical mass is not where it used to be. And the level of spirituality relative to where it used to be is kind of, in the lowest level. But of course, we can raise to the highest level. That's the sort of kind of funny advantage of being in the lowest level. The darkest vessel can reveal the most light. Okay, let's get back to the idea of the angels. So we understand the name of the angel. Now, what is an angel actually? Angel is not certainly this one, okay? An angel is not separate from the Creator, but rather the Creator flows in a certain way. So we understand there's something called Sefirot. Sefirot, or what many people call the tree of life, is basically the way the Creator reveals His light in this world. Because, again, what most people do not understand, and again, this is the Kabbalistic thought, that the light of the Creator is so different from us that we can never connect directly to the Creator. It doesn't work that way. So the Creator gave us a different ways that we can create. He gave us certain people that we can connect through. There are righteous people. There are, and again, it's not that we pray to people. We don't pray to people, and we don't pray to angels, but angels are, again, one of the conduits. It's conduit. That's the point. It's a conduit. Like, you don't put your finger directly in the electricity, as I say. We have conduits. If you want light, you plug in a lamp. You want, whatever, to preserve your food, you plug in your refrigerator. There are conduits to assist us to do certain things. There are angels that assist us to do certain things from the storehouse of the mainframe of the Creator. You see, we don't know what the Creator is. All we know, really, is the Creator is an endless emanation of good, of bestowal, of goodness. Anything that is good emanates from the Creator. That's what we understand. The light of the Creator is revealed in steps. Again, a little bit like, I don't know, I'm not saying the Creator is electricity. No, please don't make that mistake. But like electricity that's coming from the source of electricity has what do they call them? Transformers, right? And what it does, steps down the electricity so that, we can plug in our refrigerator, in our home. It's not the same level of electricity that's coming directly from the source of where it's being, created. Not the same. And in a way, it's kind of an analogy to the Creator's light. The Creator's light is so high, so vast, so endless. But do we understand what endless is? We don't relate to that. We can't relate to that directly. So what the Creator did was create the let's call them spiritual transformers, and there are 10 levels, and they are also infinite in essence, but the way that system operates is in a way of a flow. That's called the tree of life, the 10 Sefirot, the 10 emanation, which go from the highest level to the lowest level of light to the lowest level of what we call the vessel of receiving, the end of that process. And everything has that. Okay, everything goes through that process. We call that the creative process that goes from pure light to no light, where creation can take place, where we can create. We have an opportunity to create things, to connect. Now, for those who may be more familiar, the source of that energy, endless energy, is called Keter, crown. Okay, and I'm skipping a lot. I'm simplifying here because, of course, the entire creative process is a study. Okay, and I do this one-on-one with people. We study the entire creative process of the 10 emanations, and that gives us an understanding, really, of a lot. I don't want to say everything, but you understand how everything works. In any case, Keter is the beginning of everything. It's the beginning process of anything. The initial thought, maybe, let's say, of whatever, because everything begins with a thought. Even before the thought, what does that look like? Maybe we don't know. But then there are different stages, and every stage that we come away from that endless light is a little bit more manifest, a little bit more desire. Because the pure spiritual realm has no desire. There's no desire over there. Doesn't work that way. We have a lot of desire, okay? And that's why also we can't relate directly, because something that has zero desire and something that is all desire, it doesn't mesh. in the same way, the higher level of our soul is more closely connected to the light itself, to God's light. But we're not there. We spend most of our time in the lower levels of our soul with our desires, with survival, with, whatever, all of our wants and needs in life. Okay? Unless we're, a very, very exceptional, special individual that your entire life is only dedicated to, to others and so on. And, I'm not sure who those people are, but I'm sure there are some that exist. Point is that this process of 10 Sfirot is the process that everything belongs, that process is part of everything, including our sustenance. Now, what is an angel? And in general, those angels that are, and there's angels for different things. Okay, I'm not giving now a whole class about angels. We have other classes about that. But this specific angel of Dikar, right, the angel of sustenance, operates as a conduit from the level which we call Bina. So Keter, Chochma, crown, wisdom, understanding. Bina. Well, Bina is a very high level. It's the source of what we call the force of sharing, actively sharing, the Creator's light, and brings it down. It steps it down through what we call the Ze'er Anpin, which is really the next six levels, okay? Chesed, Gvura, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, and Yesod, and helps us connect to it where we are in what we call the Malchut, in the vessel of receiving. We also represent Malchut in different ways, physical life, but Malchut generally means the vessel of receiving. So basically, what does the angel do? What is the angel's purpose? The angel's purpose is to bridge the gap between the higher levels, which that's what it, again, is it different than God's light? No, it's a part of God's light. So it's not something different. The angel is not different than the Creator, but it's an aspect of the Creator. Because the Creator is not all about sustenance. Creator is all endless. So this is like a pipe that is directly connected to the Creator and comes through the proper vehicles, the proper channels, so that we can attach to it. But it's just that, we can't just attach to it. There are certain requirements, okay? And I know, I read the comments and, Dikar, give me money now. Give me sustenance. Give me abundance. It doesn't work that way, okay? It's not that simple. To properly use it and to see results and things manifest, there are certain things we need to do. So yes, of course, when you download, of course, the tools from the rabbiabe.com, okay, you have the tools. If you haven't, then download. That's where you begin. You download the names, and there's a methodology there how to use it. And you go there. It's explained in the downloads. You can download it. It's free of charge. Don't worry. The opening of the hands and so on. But there has to be certain consciousness attached to this, because there is a rule. Kabbalah explains the rule of affinity. The reason why we can't connect directly to the the Creator force is only one thing: endless beneficence. We are not. You see, we are not endless beneficence. We are selfish, unfortunate. We have an ego. And it's normal. It's not, we're created that way. It's supposed to be that way because we are here to transform. So what creates connection is affinity, similarity of form. That's what creates connection. The more similar we are to the Creator, the more we have an ability to connect with the Creator and what emanates from the Creator. So this angel is a conduit to assist us who don't have a direct affinity to help us even though we're not that. The angel helps us to bridge the gap. I hope this makes sense, right? That's what the angel does. The job of this angel is to help us bridge the gap and help us connect to the force of sustenance which comes from the Creator. So again, it's not the angel is providing sustenance. No, the angel is the conduit, that specific frequency which relates to sustenance. That's why these names, right? Look at the names in back of me, right? You 72 names. Those of you who've taken the master class on the 72 names, which is on our website, by the way, those of you taking it, I mean, the feedback, thank God, I'm so happy. The feedback is unbelievable. People getting so much benefit because that's what these names are for. We were given these names. The Creator gave us these names to use to help make our life better. We're not just put here helpless and to be a victim of whatever's going on, in the environment and whatever. No, we are here to thrive, to have the sustenance, to have the love, to have, the things that we need in our life to be happy people. But it doesn't come without spiritual work. It's not magic. It's not snap your fingers or just use the name and that's it. And that's it. Yes, if you're already in that space, I do have people who say, you know what, I use the names, I scan every morning, and things have changed dramatically. Yeah, well, that does happen. But it could be, that you're already doing other things that are necessary, and this is what was missing, this connection. You see? That's why it's not the same for everybody. If you're doing the other spiritual work, which is what? And I'll tell you 2 things that you must do if you want to manifest sustenance, and anything for that matter in life. You cannot be coming from a place of lack. As I've said in the prayer video, or in the stop praying video, whatever we call it, if you pray, if you're asking God from a place of lack, it's not going to work that well. You might get lucky. I'm not saying no, never, but that's not the way to do it. The way to do it is, number 1, appreciation, and the desire to connect with that light. Not because I don't have, because I want the purpose. What's the purpose? What's the purpose that you want to connect to sustenance? Just so that you have money? That's not a purpose. Money is not a goal. Money is never a purpose. Not in a business, not in a job. You can't have money as a purpose. It's not a goal. What you want to do, that's a goal. How you want to make things better, that's a goal. And more often than not, it's not how you want to make your own thing better, because that's even though there's a need, it's still selfish. It's still about me, you see? And I don't mean to sound cold, and we all have our needs, but still, sometimes we need to force ourselves to think about other people who need. Pray for them and pray for that their needs should be fulfilled. I want to be a conduit. I want just to be the vehicle to help others have sustenance. That's one thing. We also need to be ready to share. We need to tithe. We need to be willing to give 10%. To wherever we feel that brings more light to people, that's where we should tithe. No, taxes are not tithing. I'm sorry. I know taxes are, a burden, but it's not tithing, okay? Tithe is calculated after your taxes, before your personal expenses. That's the ideal. Now, if you have financial hardship, okay, there's other, exceptions. But tithe, you should. Everybody needs to tithe, including a poor person needs to tithe, because that's how he's going to, get out of his poverty. Tithe brings blessing. I won't go into it. We now, again, you remove the limitation of your spiritual vessel of receiving. That's the purpose of tithe. We must share. We must tithe. That's number 2. Okay. Number three. One of the meditations that you have in the download, it's called Yekahata Vechaha. It's there. It's part of the download. Within that name is another angel, actually. And the name of that angel also means, it's interesting, if you're paying attention. It means to cut, like to cut something. Chatach, to cut. What does that mean even? Why does it mean to cut? Because that angel is designated to cut our portion of the sustenance. When? Only when we're happy and feeling fulfilled, in a fulfilled state. Yes. Now that is difficult when you're not feeling fulfilled. And that's why I say you can't pray from a place of lack. It's a paradox, unfortunately. But if you want to be in the most effective place to draw down sustenance, you must, you have to first go into a state of appreciation. Be thankful for all the things that you do have. Appreciate. You must come from a complete place, because this angel does nothing if you are coming from a place of lack. Only when you're happy and in a fulfilled state of mind. Again, it's a paradox, because how can I feel fulfilled if I'm broke? Because it doesn't matter. All the sages and the Kabbalists, there's so many stories of righteous people who had nothing, but they felt nothing but joy just to be connected to the Creator. I know it's far-fetched, okay? And we don't live in those times, where we only needed a morsel of bread to be happy, but still, the rules of energy operate the same. Like attracts like. If you are in a state and agree with your lack, that you draw it. Unfortunately, you draw more of the same. If you're in a state of completeness and you feel, I'm complete, I appreciate, I'm happy, you really feel that? Get yourself to feel it. Watch a funny movie. Listen to a laugh track before you do the meditation. It doesn't matter what you do. Do it, whatever it takes to get yourself into that state of mind, and then do the meditation, and then open the hands and, follow the instructions in the download, and then scan the names, the 72 names, if you understand and you've done the master class, then you're going to be amazed at the results that you would see, okay? Things begin to happen. But if you're coming from a place of lack and this and I need, give me money. No, it doesn't work that way. Stop it. It's ridiculous. This world, there's nothing for free here. Everything in this world is based on what we create. We're here to be creative, one way or the other. So you have to be making the effort in whatever you do. You can't just be sitting and say, angel, give me sustenance, really? And you honestly think that's going to do something? It's going to do nothing. Sorry to break it to you. There is no free anything. There's no free ride. But if you're doing the work, and you're willing to share, and you're willing to tithe, and you're willing to be happy, and you're asking from a place of completeness, and you use the tools, you, like many, many others, will see the results. You will. And that's what I can tell you. So I hope this answers a lot of the questions that have, come my way. That was my goal in this video. And I bless us all with endless sustenance, but you got to do the work. But endless blessing, endless sustenance, and all the things that we need for the new year, for the coming year. Blessings to all, and I'll see you in the next one.